How is everyone today? I hope you're having an amazing day and welcome back to the channel. This video is a tutorial of how to use the DJI Osmo 360. So I am going to show you the settings that I like to use to get the best video quality and how I use this camera for regular videos in low light conditions and which are the best ways to use this as a vlogging device. To start, we are going to use the panoramic video mode that you can select if you press this icon. Now swipe up on the screen and here you can select the resolution. I highly recommend to use 8K, and this is because this resolution is for the entire video shot at 360 degrees, which looks like a round video like this one, and when you want to select a position or frame that you want to use, the rest of the video is not going to be used, so the final resolution is actually going to be lower than 8K. And the only reason to use a lower resolution like 6K is if you need to save some memory space, since 8K files are about 25% bigger than 6K videos. But keep in mind that your videos are going to have a lower quality. Below the resolution, I like to use 24 frames per second for most videos. This is going to give you a more cinematic feel, and it also has a slight and more natural motion blur. And I like to use 50 frames per second when a video has some kind of action or a movement that I want to slow down in post. On the right side of the main screen, you can open this menu and turn on the Pro settings to access some useful options even if you are a beginner. For the exposure, using auto settings is going to be good enough for most users, but I like to set the ISO to a maximum of 3200. Any higher than that is going to make your videos have a little bit too much of noise, and that's something that is better to avoid. If you tap on this corner, you can also set the minimum shutter speed, and here I recommend to use 1/100. The white balance can be set to 5400 or 5500 if you're outdoors with plenty of sunlight. But honestly, I usually keep it in automatic because it gets the job done, and I also tend to forget to adjust it in different situations. For lower light conditions, it is useful to turn on the anti-motion blur, and here on the right side, you can leave the color profile on normal 10-bit color, but using D-Log-M is going to give you the highest dynamic range, and it's just more flexible to color grade in post. The screen will show a flat color preview of your video, so here you can turn on this option so you have a better idea of what the video is going to look like after you apply the color correction. And I know that this sounds complicated, but on the DJI Mimo app, it is very easy to apply, and if you use the DJI Studio on a computer, you just have to select your video down here, select the Adjust option up on this corner, and check the box for color recovery. And I like that here I can actually customize the intensity of the color profile. Next, we have Endurance mode, which is a battery saver mode, and I prefer to have it off to avoid a few limitations that it has, and instead, I just carry a few extra batteries on my backpack. And in case you didn't know, the ones from the DJI Action 3, 4, and 5 Pro are fully compatible with the Osmo 360. On the last option, you have texture and noise reduction. Texture controls the sharpness, and for this kind of cameras, it's better to use -2, and for the noise reduction, I just leave it at 0. From the main screen, swipe down to open this menu and select this icon for the settings. Look for the option that says bitrate and select high. This will make the camera capture more information and your videos will have a higher quality. If you want to record in low light situations, you can press this icon over here and then select the Super Night Video mode. This is going to lift the shadows and you're going to notice less noise and more details in your video. Remember to open the menu on the right side of the main screen to select the Pro feature and change the shutter speed on the exposure tab and lower the texture to -2. If you record using the panoramic video mode, you are going to get a 360 video that you have to edit to get the frame or the movement that you want. With the Osmo 360, You can go to this icon and select the single lens option. This will let you record using a single lens, so it's going to be a flat MP4 video that you can use right away without having to reframe anything. For videos, you have three different options, which are Boost, Super Night, and the normal video mode. The difference between Boost and the regular option is that Boost is going to have a wider field of view, and you can record using 4K up to 120 frames per second, but this mode comes with some distortion. If you use the regular video mode, you get less distortion and you can record in 5K up to 60 frames per second. For low light videos using a single lens, you can select this Super Night video mode. It's going to have the same field of view as the Boost video mode, but with the same benefits that I mentioned before, so more details and less noise in your video. To select the lens that you want to use, you need to press this icon over here to select the lens in the front or the back. And for the settings, you need to select the same ones that I show you from the panoramic mode. Something else that I recommend to do is to open the resolution menu and press this icon on this corner, and here you need to select horizon steady, which is going to keep the horizon straight in your videos. When it comes to vlogging or selfie style videos, you're going to have a few options with different results. For the first one, you need to press this icon, make sure that you are on 360 mode, and then select the selfie mode. You are not going to get an MP4 video file for this, so you need to open it with the DJI Mimo app or the DJI Studio on your computer. But there is no need to reframe anything because the camera is set to look towards you no matter in which direction you move the camera around. Before you start to record, select 4K for the resolution, and for the frame rate, I prefer 30 frames per second. Open the menu on the right side of the screen to select the Pro mode and use the same settings from the panorama mode. Now, to use the selfie mode, you need to fully extend the selfie stick in front of you, making a 90-degree angle or at least somewhere close to it. As you can see, the camera is going to frame your whole body, and you can move the camera to the left or the right, and it's always going to keep you inside the frame. The next option for vlogging videos is to use the single lens mode. Let's not forget that this mode doesn't require you to reframe or do any kind of editing. And here, you can use the Boost mode to give you a wider field of view, or you can use the regular mode for a closer look at yourself. And what I like about this is that you can play around with the distance between you and the camera depending on the position of the selfie stick. For a closer look, the way I like to position the camera is by holding the selfie stick right in front of me in an upright position without extending it. This way, the lens is at eye level, and this is actually the most discreet way to use it, and it's easier to use if there is other people around because you don't have to extend the selfie stick. But if you don't mind about that, you can tilt the camera using this adjustable quick release mount that comes with a combo version of the Osmo 360. Just push this button in the back and move the camera like this. Extend the selfie stick as much as you want and position it in front of you. Don't forget that you can use a wider field of view if you select the Boost video mode on the camera. And here you can see a few examples that shows the difference between each mode. Now, it's important to mention that fully extending the selfie stick in Boost mode, it's going to make the stick more visible inside the video. The last option for vlogging style videos is to use the Panorama 360 video mode. It takes some extra work compared to the other options because you have to reframe your video, but this can also be an advantage because you can edit the video to show other angles of the camera at the same time. The way I like to hold the camera for this purpose is by extending the selfie stick and position the camera around chest or eye level depending on the angle that I want to achieve. I highly recommend to use an external microphone with the Osmo 360. DJI has a few great options like the DJI Mic 2, the Mic 3, and the DJI Mic Mini. And the reason I like them is because they use a direct connection between the Osmo 360 and one or two transmitters at the same time. In other words, you don't need the receiver. And some people don't believe me when I say that you can buy a single transmitter for $60 or even less if they are on sale. To connect the DJI Mic Mini, you need to swipe down on the main screen and select this option here. Now select TX1 and on the transmitter, press and hold the link button until the light starts blinking blue and green, and then wait for just a few seconds until both devices are connected. If you want to pair a second transmitter, use the TX2 slot and just repeat the same process. Alright, so a good tip that I can give you is to shoot close to sunrise or sunset. So this is what we call the golden hour, and you're gonna see the light is going to cast this light onto myself that is very pleasing, not just on me, but in general on the background. So yeah. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to say hello. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.